Hi guys, it's Madison over at the Ohio Pet Sanctuary, and today I've got a helper. It's Macy. Macy is one of our best bunny fosters, and today she's going to help me show you guys how to make bunny and guinea pig cookies for your pets at home. So we're going to make two batches. We're going to make one that's banana and one that's got a little bit of an extra twist to it. The idea is that when you feed your animals their Timothy hay, at the bottom of the bag you always wind up with these little itty bitty extra bits and all that powder that your pets don't really want to eat. And we believe in waste not, want not, so we're going to show you how to put that to good use. Now I will tell you, if you get the longer sticks left in the bottom of the bag, you can run this through a food processor and make it a little bit more fine, and that makes the cookies a little bit easier to mold or shape, and you can even do some fun things like poke holes in them to string them on strings for your pets to play with. So the first one that we're going to do, I'm going to take off my watch here. The first one that we're going to do is going to be a banana one. So Macy, would you mind smushing up a banana for me? Alright, now I like to use aged bananas for this because they mush a little bit easier. I artificially aged these bananas by putting them in the microwave for 1 minute because the grocery did not have old bananas for me. So that does help make them a little bit softer, but be careful that they cool down before you touch them with your hands. Alright, so, alright, mush that up real good for me. Hard. There you go. Okay, and then per one good sized banana you're going to need roughly 1 cup of your powdered Timothy or orchard hay. So we want kind of the finer, dustier bits so that it molds a little easier. That looks pretty good. Alright, now I am going to do the dirty bit. And this is the fun part for most of the kids, but you're going to mush the banana and the hay all in together. And then, because I personally like my chocolate chip cookies, because I like a little bit of surprise that comes with the cookies, we're going to throw in a little bit of a surprise for your guys. We're going to throw in about a small box of raisins. So Macy, you want to dump in a little box of raisins for me? Come on there. Is that all of them? Squish them back. There we go. Alright. Can I dip those out? There we go. Alright, I'm going to keep mushing while you're doing that. Okay, so we want to mix it really thoroughly. And you want to pick up as much of that hay. Let me see. Alright, you're going to want to pick up as much of that hay as you can, and then like I said, make sure you mush those raisins in there really, really well. Okay, so at this point, I usually like to let it sit and absorb the extra moisture from the banana, and that helps hold everything together a little bit better, and it also helps to keep your hay from singeing in the oven. But today, for the sake of time, we won't do that. So you want something that's going to hold together kind of like a firm ball, and that's how you know when you've got it mushed well enough. Okay, so then we're going to take a bit somewhere between about the size of a gumball and the size of a golf ball, and we're going to mold that into a ball. Alright, that's a little bit big, but we'll work with it. Okay. And then we're going to smush it flat. You got it. Perfect. Okay, and we're going to make a couple more of these. And usually one banana, depending on how big you make your treats, and obviously you can make them smaller for your guinea pigs, one banana will usually make you about 5 or 6 treats. Alright, and then like I said, if you use a little bit finer hay, or if you run it through the food processor to make it a little bit more fine, you can actually use cookie cutters on these, or you can poke holes in them with a chopstick. Oops, sorry, a little bit more. There you go. You can poke holes in them with a chopstick, and that way you can think this one's got too many raisins in it, but we'll work with it. That way you can string it on a piece of string and hang it on the side of their cage and give them a little bit of enrichment too. All right, let's down. There we go, perfect. Okay, so our oven has been preheated to our typical 350 degrees. Now, depending on how big and how thick you have these is going to depend on your length of time for how long you cook them. Don't whack up your temperature to make them cook faster, because all that's going to do is burn them. We're not trying to cook them, we're trying to draw the moisture out. So you want a longer period with a lower heat. So if you can do this about 300 for about 30 minutes, that works really well. We're going to, for the sake of time, do this at 350 for about 12 minutes. I timed it in the toaster oven. We're using a toaster oven today because I didn't want to film this in my kitchen. And I do want to thank the Wilson family for letting us use their toaster oven. So we're going to do this in here for about 12 minutes. Like I said, you're going to want to keep an eye on them a little bit. There we go. You're going to want to keep an eye on them because temperatures or time is going to vary based on your oven and everything else. Now I am using a silicone mat, non-stick mat to do this. If you need to make a non-stick surface, you can use just plain old vegetable oil that does not contain coconut, and that would be just fine. I don't recommend using no-stick pans. The reason being, if you heat no-stick pans up to a temperature over 400, they release a gas that's actually lethal to birds, and that toxin does leach into the food. So I don't recommend using them when we're using doing animals with sensitive digestive tracts. So now I can hear everybody yelling at me, oh my goodness, I used bananas and raisins, that's so much sugar, we can't have too much sugar, so what else can we do? Personally, I like my chocolate chip cookies. Again, these are meant to be treats, so a little bit of sugar is okay, just like a cookie is okay for me. Cookie is definitely okay for Macy every once in a while. But to counterbalance that, if we want to do something vegetable, baby food packets. A 1 4-ounce baby food packet is the equivalent of 1 large banana, and this will give you a good variety of flavors. Today we're doing Macy's favorite, we're doing green beans. Yes, so we're going to make some green bean ones as well. So again, we're going to do one of these and 1 cup of, oops, and then we're going to do 1 cup of the powder. Can you measure me out 1 cup of that, please? There you go. Yep, measure me out 1 cup of that, please. I should have a spatula. There we go. All right. A little bit more. Good. Okay, go ahead and dump it in. All right. And then because this is already a little bit mushed up, whereas the banana wasn't, I'm going to use the back of the spoon to kind of mix it a little bit together. That way I'm getting more of the vegetable into the Timothy hay and less on my fingers. Actually, it looks like we're going to need a little bit more. It's a little bit mushier. Again, this is wetter than a banana, so it'll take a little bit more. Okay. A little bit more. Yeah, that looks good. Alright. So, if you leave it wetter, that is absolutely fine. It just means you're going to have to leave it, again, a low temperature in the oven for a longer period of time to dry out the treats. Throw in one more pinch of that just because I'm getting ready to stick my fingers in it. You want to mush it? Alright. Okay, so it looks like we're mushed nice and well. So, we did the other ones as round treats. These ones we're going to do a little bit more fun. We're going to make stick shapes. Now, the stick shaped ones I made yesterday came out kind of looking a little bit more like a cigar. But again, you can change blunt the ends or whatever you need to do, or you can kind of form them into cute little heart shapes or whatever you like. So, I'm going to take a little bit of this and just kind of squeeze it together. into something that resembles a cigar. Now, the other cookies we did at about 1 centimeter thick. These ones you're going to want a little bit thicker so that they hold together better, but I would not recommend doing anything more than 1 inch in diameter. So we're going to get something that looks kind of like a green cigar. I should have picked a different food. Green is not a good color. Okay. You want to stick your fingers in there? Alright. You want to make the other one? There you go. Okay. And mush it into a cigar. Perfect. Good. You want to do another one? And again, cooking times are going to vary. Again, low heat for long periods of time. Good. Perfect. Looks like we can get one more out of that. Awesome. Alright. And make sure you check on them periodically just to make sure that your hay is not burning. It shouldn't burn if you do a long cook at a low temperature, but you obviously don't want to burn your house down. You want to wipe your hands? There you go. Okay, so I did some of the cigar-shaped ones yesterday so that I could show you guys, for the time's sake, what they should look like. So they come out kind of long. Texture-wise, you're going to want something that feels like an uncooked banana. So firm, definitely not overripe, but that's what's going to hold that texture together. If you do a longer period, it'll dry out a little bit more, which is what I did on this one. It'll still hold its shape, it'll just wind up being a little bit crunchier. So let's have a look at these. These ones are still just a little bit soft, but not too crazy, so I think we should be good to go ahead and pull those out. So, thank you. We're going to wipe this off. And then I like to use cooling racks for these. And again, these are a little bit underdone, but I would like to show you guys how to dry them out. Alright. So, will you take this and push them off onto the tray? Excellent. So I like cooling racks. If you don't have a cooling rack at home, one more, watch your arm. There you go. If you don't have a cooling rack at home, that is fine. What you want to do to counter that, we'll just set this on, is actually cool the cookies upside down, and that's what's going to allow the remainder of the moisture to evaporate out. And that one had a few too many raisins in it, but that's okay. So you should wind up with something that is about the size and shape of a cookie, but again, the consistency of something that's like an uncooked or an underripe banana. It should be nice and firm. See, it doesn't go in when I squish it. It should be good and firm. And again, you can leave these in a little bit longer to dry them out a little bit more, but if you dry them out too much, they will fall apart. Now, these will keep for a good week, week and a half if you put them in an airtight container in the refrigerator. And give your rabbit 1, 2 a day. That should be plenty fine depending on the size of your rabbit. But I think that is all we've got for today. Do you have any questions, Macy?
Yep.
Okay. So if you liked what you saw here today, please share it with your friends. If you have any special requests on other treats or other animals you'd like to see us feature, please shoot us an email at theohiopetsanctuary@gmail.com. Thank you very much.